What's a Game 7 like for a player?
It's nerve-wracking. Game 7s are like no other game that you play throughout the course of the season. There is a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of nerves. There's a lot of tension. But there's also a lot of excitement. The adrenaline starts flowing, and these games are where careers and reputations are created. There's going to be a star tonight. There's going to be a hero, and those people have the opportunity of either extending and building on their prowess or starting their reputation. So I love these games because the fans are going to be into it, the players are going to be into it, and somebody's going home.
Rick Nash has been an underachiever in the postseason. Let's face it, 1 goal as a New York Ranger in 18 playoff games. When you're a star and you've underachieved, JR, in a series or in a year or with a particular team, when you go into this Game 7, are you thinking about what you haven't done, or are you thinking about what you need to do?
You're preying on what you want to have happen. For nobody wants to be known as an underachiever, and nobody wants to be known as a guy who can't do it in the big games. Nash he's got to decide how he wants to be remembered and how he wants to be viewed as a hockey player. Does he want to be viewed as a guy that scores goals in January and November and December, or does he want to be known as a guy who scores in April, May, and June? Because those are two different types of players, and they're dramatically different in how they're viewed by their peers and by the fans and by management, to tell you the truth. So he's got to find a way to get it done, and he's got to dig deeper. He's got to go into those scoring areas. I don't see him getting in front of the net. I never see him in front of the net. I see him to the outside, always looking to get the shot from the outside. Take a perfect example. Wayne Simmons last night scores 3 goals, and he does it all from right around, like 2 feet from around the crease. And I haven't seen Rick Nash there whatsoever. It's always trying to score off the rush or trying to get that pass. You have to change your mentality, and you have to go into where the dirty areas are, where the puck is going to come. Maybe something goes off you and goes in. But I'll tell you what, even if that puck goes off your skate and goes in the back of the net, you're still going to be viewed as a hero if it's an overtime win, and when it looks in the paper is a W.
We're talking to Jeremy Roenick of NBC Sports. Jeremy, I'm wondering, is a game like this also a referendum on Henrik Lundqvist? He's got the nickname, but he doesn't have the Stanley Cup. So the King with the big contract, he's 7 games under 500 lifetime in his career in the playoffs. Does he have to stand on his head tonight?
He does. Henrik Lundqvist has not won a game for this team yet in the playoffs. I think he is one of those goaltenders that has the ability to win games by himself. We've seen that, but again, this is where his his reputation is going to be put, and what people are going to remember him is when the playoffs start, when the paychecks stop, and you play for the pride of the game. Do you play your best hockey? And Henrik Lundqvist, I think he's got more support in front of him this year than he has in the previous years in terms of offense. And their defense is still one of the top defensive teams in the league. He's got to make the big saves, and he's got to make them tonight and win this game to continue on, because I think this Ranger team can compete, but I don't think they can win the Stanley Cup right now the way that Henrik Lundqvist has performed. He's got to raise it another notch.
JR, you mentioned Nash's inability to get in front of the net. You could say that about a lot of the Rangers, especially in Game 6. It seemed like underneath the face-off dot in the offensive zone, they don't have that feistiness, that killer instinct. Is that a credit to Philadelphia stopping them, or are the Rangers just not doing enough to get those dirty goals?
No, absolutely not. And with the rules today, Don, you can't stop that. The rules today, they have to give you a lane to that net. There has to be a position that you can create. Any kind of cross checks or anything like that are happening in front of the net, they're calling penalties. And it's getting that compete level and that mentality that I am going to go there, I am going to stay there, and I'm going to battle there. So when the first puck comes, there's a rebound laying there. they get that rebound. So the problem is the Rangers aren't getting that second and third opportunity because they're not getting enough guys there at the right time to pick those up. And that's all a decision. That's a heart and soul determination to get there, to make it. That's a mental decision, not a physical decision.
What's your gut tell you about this game? What are you feeling about this one?
I think it's going to be really hard, obviously really hard physical game tonight. I think guys come out, and I think it's going to be a very slow start to this game. I think both teams aren't going to want to make a mistake early. They're going to feel each other out. They're going to both be patient. I can't see them turning it into a back-and-forth kind of game early. I think this is a game that they both know each other so well. It's almost like who's going to make that first mistake. And I think the Rangers play a patient game. I think the Flyers are going to have to play a patient road game in order to win. So I expect this game to start off pretty slow scoring-wise, low scoring. And, the Rangers are very tough in their building. The Flyers have a very difficult task at hand to win in Madison Square Garden. They've won once in the last 3 years. Now they're expected to do it twice in 3 games. That's going to be tough, but it's going to be interesting.